Let's get started with Sora. In this lesson, we will go over the basic settings and how to get all set up. All right, let's get started. First, you want to head to Sora.com. Then you'll have to log into your ChatGPT account. Once you log in, your screen will look like this. On the top right, you can click your name. In this tab, you will see your settings, help, video tutorials, and your current plan. It will also tell you how many credits you have left. Now, on the left hand of the screen, you have recent, featured, and saved. If you click on recent, you will see some recent generations from the Sora community. If you click on featured, you will see some featured videos. These are just some really good looking videos made with Sora. If you find a video that you really love, you can go ahead and click save. Then it will appear in the saved tab. Below, you can find the library of all your videos. Under all videos, you will be able to see all the videos that you created with Sora. If you click on the favorites tab, you will be able to see all the videos that you favorited. And in uploads, you can see any videos or pictures that you have uploaded to Sora. You can even make your own custom folders so that you can stay organized. So to stay organized, I clicked on new folder. I named it Sora test video. I went into my favorites. I click on the upper three dots and I added it to my new folder, Sora test video. This way you can stay organized even when you have lots of different videos. To recap, we went through setting up your Sora account and the different features in the bar on the left. There's so much to cover and I can't wait to see you in the next lesson. In this lesson, we will explore the best Sora videos out there. There's an amazing community of people making incredible videos. So let's dive in and I'll show you how we can learn from the best. In the recent and featured tabs, you can see videos that other people have generated. Wow, look at these AI videos made by Sora. They are so realistic and there's so many different prompts that you can use to make videos. It's truly incredible, the technology and AI that's out right now. If you find a video that you like, you can click on it to see what prompt they used. There at the bottom, you will see the prompt. If you want to use the same prompt yourself, you can go ahead and click Edit Prompt. Here you can tweak the prompt if you want to and generate your own video. So let's change the porcupine in this video into a cat and go ahead and click generate. When you're done with the prompt, it gets added to the queue and you can check its progress on the top right. Then you go to your library where you can see the video that you just made. So I suggest spending some time in the featured videos, clicking on the videos that you like, and study the prompts that they use. Occasionally, you're going to find one that says storyboard instead of prompt. We are going to dive into storyboards and all the other features at the bottom in the coming lessons. If you scroll over to a video that you like, you will see these 4 options at the bottom right of the video. There's remix if you want to remix this prompt, loop if you want to loop this video, save if you want to save this video, and search if you want to search for similar videos. You can learn so much by just reading other people's prompts. So just spend some time in the recent and featured tabs and I'll catch you in the next lesson. Now we're going to go over this amazing Sora prompt engineering guide. This amazing guide was made by Curious Refuge, and I highly recommend that you check out his YouTube for all things AI. This is a great guide for learning the Sora prompting basics. Here is a table of contents of everything that is covered in the guide. Let's get started with some Sora prompts. Here it says, start your prompt with a cinematic video of, then describe your characters, action and setting, describe shot type and composition, and describe the style or atmosphere. So for example, this one says, a cinematic video of a woman walking along a deserted beach at sunrise, wide angle shot in the style of an epic fantasy film. The golden sunlight reflects on the water and soft waves gently crash against the shore. The less you write, the more Sora will fill in the details. The more you write, the more Sora will try to adhere to your direction. It's about finding balance and clarity in your prompts. Next, avoid overly abstract requests. Bad prompts often describe ideas that are difficult to visualize or overly complex. An example of a bad prompt could be giraffe flamingo hybrid creature egg. wise. So remember to stay grounded in plausible and easily depictable scenarios. Next, incorporate emotional or atmospheric cues. Strong prompts convey mood or atmosphere. For example, a serene desert landscape at sunset, peaceful and calming atmosphere. Adding emotional depth helps Sora create videos that resonate better. Also, adding lighting helps similarly to understand the environment and atmosphere. Below are some ideas for different types of lighting to help you when prompting for specific environments. Now let's get into lighting. Here are some examples of different kinds of lighting you can use. For example, if you like the moonlight lighting, you can use moonlight as a description in your prompt for your Sora video. Here we have more examples of lighting. Go ahead and experiment with these different lighting styles in your prompts. Be specific with visual details. Good prompts include precise descriptions of shot type and composition, settings, characters, and actions. For instance, depict a medieval battlefield at dawn with a lone warrior emerging through a thick, low-hanging mist. Use Panavision anamorphic lenses. Use terms like cinematic, hyper-realistic, and specific lighting conditions, for example, golden sunlight or soft golden light, to shape the video's aesthetic. Next, we have shot type and composition. Here are some examples of different shots you can use. You can go ahead and use the camera shot that you like in the description in your prompt. For example, if you like the aerial view, you can use drone shot in your prompt. Here's a list of some other shot types you can use. Use moderate complexity. Avoid overwhelming the AI with excessive detail, but include enough for clear direction. For example, you might want to use a prompt like, a majestic albino jaguar drinks from a crystal clear stream in a snowy forest. Use cinematic language. Good prompts often employ film terminology, such as shot on 35mm film, cinema quality, or dramatic lens flares. Incorporating camera angles, lens types, or movements can guide the system toward better adherence. Check out some different camera types below to help become more educated with common cinematography terms. Now let's go over camera types. Here's a list of different cameras you can use. Just like before, you would include Super 8 if you wanted that look into your prompt. Specify actions. Including actions like walking, drinking, or swaying clarifies what should happen in the video. For instance, gentle swaying of plants in a light breeze as the sunset progresses. Experiment with styles. Use specific art or film styles. For example, claymation or black and white silent style for a distinct look. These terms guide Sora to apply stylistic consistency. Check out some recommended styles below to help spark some ideas. So you can choose a style that you like and include that in your prompt. Here's a list of additional styles you can use. Test and refine. Experiment by modifying prompts based on outputs. Start with a detailed description and simplify or adjust as needed if results aren't ideal. Just like other AI tools, you won't often get what you are looking for on the first try. Keep experimenting and keep learning. Now that we covered some film terminology, you can use these words to better communicate with Sora. In the next lesson, we will prompt our own videos. See you there. Now it's time to make our own videos with Sora, so let's dive right in. Now let's click on the bar at the bottom of your screen and start prompting. So let's go ahead and try a prompt of our own. I wrote, a dragon flying over a castle in the sky at sunset in animation style, natural lighting, low angle shot, phantom flex. Then hit create video. After you hit generate, your video will go into the queue on the top right. When it's done, you'll see this notification. So there you have it. Here's our dragon flying through the sky. So now let's talk about the options at the bottom. The plus button is for uploading images and videos. We will cover that in detail in a different lesson. Next, we have style presets. If you want your video to be in any of these specific styles, you would simply click on it. So if you wanted to make a stop motion video, you would click stop motion. Balloon World is pretty wild. You're probably not going to use it too often, but it's pretty fun. Stop motion is always a classic. Archival is meant to have a nostalgic look. It doesn't nail it every time, but this one is honestly my favorite preset. If you want that classic black and white look, then you would use film noir. Cardboard and papercraft is cute if you want to use that specific look. You can also click on manage to make your own presets. Here you can read the prompts that create the current presets. If you want to make your own preset, you can go ahead and click the plus sign. But I would suggest duplicating one of the existing presets instead. Now I'm going to hit duplicate preset. The reason I like to duplicate is because you can use this template when you want to create your own preset. Here you can write your own theme, color, film stock, etc. But I like to copy this and put it into ChatGPT to get some unique ideas. So I use ChatGPT to fill out the template to make a crystal world, and I'm gonna hit save. So now if I want my video to live in the crystal world, I would choose this preset. Next we have aspect ratio. You can choose 16:9, which is the horizontal YouTube style, 1:1 for a perfect square, or 9:16 if you want to make some vertical videos. Here you have different resolution options. If you pay for the Pro subscription, you can get your resolution in 1080p, but if not, 720p is the highest you can go. You'll also notice that on the right, the higher the quality, the slower the generation. Using higher resolutions also take up more credits. I suggest creating in 480p until you find a generation that you really like. From there, you can remix it in a higher resolution. Here you can choose how long you want your video to be. If you pay for the Pro tier, you will have access to longer durations. Next, you can choose how many variations you want Sora to generate. For example, if you want Sora to make 2 generations, you would click 2. Last, we have this question mark, which will tell us how many credits this generation will take. So if I up the resolution to 720, notice that it will take more credits to generate. So let's try this prompt. In a very ultra real sunny corner of Paris, Gaston the snowshoe phoenix cat is wearing a beret and enjoying an espresso and reading a newspaper. Let's see what it comes up with. It can take a few generations to get it right. Once you're happy with the result, you can recreate the video using a higher resolution. Now that the generation is ready, let's go ahead and click on it. And perfect, there you have it. Prompting in Sora is really straightforward. You just put what you want to see in the prompt bar, add your descriptive words, and let Sora work its magic. In this lesson, we will bring your images to life using Sora. In the composer bar at the bottom, go ahead and click the plus sign to upload your image. Here, you can also upload videos from your computer or the Sora library. But for this lesson, we are going to start with an image. So here you can describe your prompt. You could leave it blank, but I recommend typing something in to give Sora some direction. Now I'm going to change the aspect ratio to 9:16. I want the astronaut to move, so now I'm telling Sora to make it dance. All right, so here we have 2 variations of my dancing astronaut. This is pretty funny. I think I'm liking the one on the right a little bit better than the one on the left. Of course, you can keep tweaking to get it just right. For this lesson, I wanted to show you how to start with an image rather than starting with a text prompt. So that's how you can turn an image into a video using Sora. Obviously, it might take a couple generations to get it just right, but with a little bit of patience, you can create something truly incredible. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the special features in the composer bar. The bar at the bottom where you enter your prompt is called the composer. If you click edit story, you may have noticed these 4 tools at the bottom here. So in this lesson, we're going to cover recut, remix, blend, and loop. Recut is one of the most powerful editing tools in Sora, and it lets me trim down and extend any segment of an existing video. We'd like to show you how it works. Sora has given me 3 distinct cuts of a robot on a remote hillside. Now, I really love this first second, but once it cuts into a close-up, that's just not what I had in mind. So I'll use Recut to extend this first part into a new 5-second video. Recut has now taken my existing clip and imported it into a storyboard. I can see and play back my clip in the timeline, or I can take this and trim my clip down to just the segment I like. Perfect. Now here's the segment I want to extend, and I'll leave the rest of the timeline empty to give Sora the ability to imagine the extension. So let's hit create and see what it makes. Here's the result. Sora has now taken my 1 second of the video and seamlessly extended it into a new 5-second video. So instead of the 3 distinct cuts, I now have 1 continuous shot of my robot on a remote hillside where they've always belonged. Remix is a powerful iteration tool that lets me use natural language to add, remove, or edit objects in an existing video. So here I have a wide shot of a brutalist home set along the coast. After seeing it, I'm curious what this would look like if it were a mid-century home. So let me use Remix to achieve that. Clicking Remix opens the Remix editor, where I can simply describe the change that I want to see in the video. Replace the cement building with a mid-century home. And that change is pretty significant. So using the Remix Strength Strong makes a lot of sense here. If I wanted to maybe add a few trees, I could use Mild and it would preserve more of my original video. And now, if I wanted to do something even smaller, like maybe just remove the windows from my building, then I could use something subtle here. But for now, I'll keep it strong. We'll hit Remix and see how it does. And here's what it made. You can see that through remixing that video, I've maintained the camera motion and the setting, but it's replaced my brutalist structure with a mid-century home on the coast. And there you have it. Blend is an experimental editing tool that allows you to transform and influence the contents of one video with that of another. Kind of like smashing two videos together, and the results can be exhilarating. Here I have a close-up of a monarch butterfly. When I saw this video, I noticed that it's a bit still, and it looked a tiny bit like an orchid. I thought I'd generate a few videos of orchids and blend them together to see what would happen. So I'll come down to Blend and choose a video from my library. I can see a handful of blends and orchids, so I'll pick one of them. This will take me to the Blend editor, where I can see both my butterfly clip and my orchid clip side by side. I can also see that in the middle of both clips is a curve, which lets me know how strong the influence of each video is at a given point in time. The higher up the curve, the more influence the top clip will have. The lower down the curve, the more influence the bottom clip will have. If I scrub through the timeline, I can review exactly what both of my videos show. And I can also grab either handle to trim in or expand how much of each clip I want in this resulting blend. So let's go ahead and blend these two clips and see what we get. And wow, Blend was able to seamlessly transform my butterfly. In the lightbox at the bottom, you can see each video that was used to create the blend. If I'm unhappy with this result, or I want to try a different curve setting, I can always edit my blend and try again. Happy blending. Loop is an exciting new part of our editing suite that lets you seamlessly repeat any section of an existing video. I have a herd of sheep running across a foggy field in Ireland, so pastoral, and I want it to repeat forever. So we're going to do just that. Clicking Loop will take me into the editor at the bottom of the screen. I can see my video, and I can also see two handles that let me adjust the section of the video that I will be looping. Dragging the handle on the right will adjust the end frame, and dragging the handle on the left will adjust the start frame. This looks pretty good. In this example, the first and last frames of my video are fairly similar, so the short loop should work great by default because Sora doesn't have to add too many frames to make it make sense. But if the first and last frames of the video are really different, it might be best to use normal or long loops to give Sora some extra time to connect those frames more seamlessly. For now, I'll use normal and it should work pretty well. Let's see how it goes. You can see that Sora took the middle section and created a perfect seamless loop of the sheep running across the field. That worked really well. We can't wait to see the endless cycles of aesthetics that you create. So that's how you use Recut, Remix, Blend, and Loop. In the next lesson, we'll cover the storyboard. See you there.